this video, we're going to go over 5 things which are destroying your drive as a man and keeping you in a state of weakness. All of these things are things which are extremely common in men, but which are easy to fix, and which are really holding people back from accomplishing what they should be doing in real life, and holding them in a state where they're comfortable, they're complacent, and they're not going out and getting the life that they should be. The first one that I want to talk about is video games. Now, the biggest problem with video games is that it's going to keep you chained into improving yourself in the digital world and improving your character on your video game instead of actually going out to real life and improving yourself. Getting caught up in a video game is going to completely destroy your motivation to go out in real life and to actually improve yourself. And the biggest problem with this is that it's giving people something which is comfortable, which they can fall back on and fall into, like a video game, where they can level themselves up and they can get that dopamine rush from improving themselves just by improving their character in a video game. This is something which is very shallow and hollow, and it's not long term. It's just instant gratification which you get, and it's a lot of dopamine, which in my opinion is very bad, because if you're out in person and in real life, the only way that you can get this dopamine is through delayed gratification. It's from going out and doing something tough, which is hard to do in the short term, but which is going to improve you in the long term. As opposed to this, playing on video games, it just gives you that instant rush of dopamine, where you're getting all that enjoyment and pleasure all at once from improving your character and leveling your character up in a video game. So the reason why video games are so popular, I think, is because men have a core desire to improve themselves and to level up. However, doing it in real life is way harder than just doing it on the digital world. This means that a lot of people are just falling back into video games where it's more comfortable and it's much easier for them to get this kind of dopamine from just leveling up in the game instead of going outside and going to the gym, working on a business, or leveling up anything in real life, which is going to give them that long-term boost and pleasure. And I mean, why would you when you can just get it from a game? So therefore, I think it's absolutely crucial that if you want to self-improve and you want to stop being weak and you want to go out and improve yourself as a man, that you quit playing video games. I think it's one of the number one things which are holding you back. It's keeping you chained into the game where you can level up and get the dopamine that you should be getting in real life from this little video game, which doesn't actually mean anything and doesn't matter. And I think this is really holding a lot of people back from self-improvement and from going out and accomplishing things that they should be doing. This is especially common in people who maybe have a rough at school, maybe they're not one of the popular people, they struggle socially. All they have to do is go back home and play video games, and then they get that feeling of leveling up and improving themselves inside this video game, which isn't actually healthy for them, because it's something that they should be going out and doing in real life. Because this is what's going to really give that long-term pleasure and benefit to your life. It's really going to make you happy and feeling fulfilled and good about yourself in the long term. So therefore, the best thing and the number one step you can do if you want to stop being weak and you want to improve yourself is to kick video games. The number one tip I can give people who are currently stuck, addicted to video games, is to actually go out and see real life as a video game. So a lot of people who get stuck playing video games and they enjoy the feeling of leveling up don't realize that real life is the exact same. We have real life skills which we can go out and level up. These are things like our physiques, our diet, social skills, income, building a business, maybe working on your career or working on studying, just things like this. Every single one of these skills are real life things which we're able to level up and we can improve for ourselves. Therefore, you don't actually need to go back to the video game. I think that a lot of people, when they realize this, that's really going to kick their need to play video games, and it can really help push them forward and improve themselves as a man. The second habit, which is completely destroying you and making you weak, is alcohol and the party lifestyle. So the biggest problem with alcohol is that it's going to completely destroy your motivation as a man. You may have found that when you drink and you get hungover the next day, it doesn't just end with the day after. It actually can last up to a week where you feel lethargic and slow and tired and you don't feel like your best self. It often takes people a lot of time to recover from a hangover or from going out and getting drunk on the weekend. This is going to leave you unproductive and unmotivated for days after, which is going to keep you from improving yourself and just keep you in a weak, poor, sloppy state of mind and being. So I think that for the most part, the reason why a lot of people get caught up going out and partying and drinking is not to celebrate anything. It's not because they find it fun. A lot of the time it's just to escape the reality that they're in. So if it's something where you're celebrating something and you're going out and drinking, that's normally okay. But a lot of men are going out and doing this literally every weekend. And I feel like the reason why they're doing this is to escape the reality that they're in. I feel like they're not trying to go out and have fun, or they might actually think it's fun, but they don't actually have fun. They're not going out to celebrate anything. They're going out to escape their life. They currently might be in a 9 to 5 that they're not happy with. They might not be happy with their physique or their overall position in life. And so instead of going out and doing something about it, they just decide to go out and get drunk, and it's a temporary escape, but long term, like I said, it's really going to damage you. It's going to keep you weak. You're not going to move forward on any level if you're going out and drinking all the time. And you're never going to improve. You're never going to level up as a man if you're spending all your weekends going out and partying and getting drunk. This is also going to have a long-term, really detrimental effect, not only to your health, but also your mind, guys. If you're, say, 30 and you've just spent the past 12 years going out and drinking every weekend, like so many people do, it's really going to fry your dopamine long term. You're not going to be able to sit down and read because it's just going to seem so much less enjoyable than drinking or doing drugs. You're not going to be able to level up on your physique. You're not going to be able to sit down and do a business because all of these are hard activities and you're not going to achieve the same unnatural high that you got from drinking alcohol. So I think that drinking alcohol is something that a lot of people do just to try and escape their reality instead of actually going out and improving on the reality themselves. For a lot of people, they use alcohol as a coping mechanism. It's something which is comfortable and gives them that pleasurable feeling, which is easy and it's enjoyable for them. However, long term, it's going to provide a lot of damage to your body, to your mind, and it's really going to put you in a state where you're unable to improve yourself. You're unable to go out and get what you should be doing, like going to the gym, building a business. Everything that being a man is actually about just completely strips it away from you. It's going to take away your motivation, and therefore I think that the best thing people can do, because this is so common with a lot of men, is to just completely kick alcohol and quit drinking, going out and partying. What this is going to do is it's going to force people to actually find out who they really are as a person. If you don't have something like this always on your mind, like alcohol, your brain is going to automatically start to form new habits, new hobbies, new ambitions, and it's really going to push you forward, and you're going to be in a state which you actually should have been in initially, but it's going to feel absolutely fantastic. You're going to find new hobbies, you're going to find new things that you actually want to do. You're going to get way more motivation and ambition to go out and improve yourself and build a physique that you want, build a business which is going to completely change you and your family, and go out and actually get something which is going to push your life forward, instead of looking for this temporary escape which long term makes things so much worse. The third habit that is extremely common is having a poor diet. This is something which is very bad because having a poor diet isn't just about building muscle and putting on fat. It affects your entire life as a man. If you're eating unhealthy and you're eating junk food, it's going to completely affect your mind, how your mind operates, and how you feel 24/7. For example, if you're going out and getting fast foods all the time, if you're eating a lot of sugar, it's going to give you a lot of brain fog. You're not going to be able to think clearly, and it's going to directly affect your intelligence. Therefore, it's going to make you make some decisions which you shouldn't be making, which are silly decisions, which you normally wouldn't make. However, you're not actually in the right frame of mind because of your diet, which is directly affecting your brain from all the sugar rush and from how this affects your internal organs. In addition to this, it's going to directly affect your hormones such as testosterone, which is the primary growth hormone for a man, which gives them that drive and motivation. So that's going to be completely taken away from you, and it's going to affect how you feel non-stop. So if you're always going out and you're eating bad food, it's all going to make you feel slow, it's going to make you feel lethargic, and it's going to make you 10 times more likely to sit around and be a lazy person. This is because of the effect that it has on your mind and your body, and both of these things are absolutely essential for you to push yourself forward and to be successful and make progress. So therefore, having a poor diet doesn't just stop at putting on fat and building muscle, which are also two essential ingredients to becoming the man that you should be. But in addition to that, it's going to have a long-term impact on your mood, how you feel, how active you are, and overall it's going to have a massive impact on your life in general. So this is something which a lot of people struggle with because of how much sugar and how many chemicals people put into the modern day diet, which is something I'm going to go over in the next step. Before I go into this, I just want to talk about binge eating. So binge eating is really common for people. It's because it's a source of comfort. It's because these sugary foods give you that pleasure and give you that short-term comforting feeling where you feel great for a little while. And however, we all know long-term how this is going to end. It's going to lead to you completely destroying who you are. It's going to lead to you putting on fat, and you're just going to be lazy. So you're going to be sitting around with brain fog, unable to think clearly, in a lazy state of mind, just way more likely to go and watch TV or to go play video games, and you're never going to go to the gym, and you're never going to improve yourself as a person because all your motivation has been taken away from you from binge eating. This is something which I think it's crucial that you kick from your life if you want to be successful and if you want to improve yourself as a man and stop being weak. So the number one piece of advice I can give people when it comes to dieting is to look out for the word organic. You know, there's so many foods today in the modern men's diet which has been contaminated with chemicals, with sugars, fructose, gluten, everything like this. A way you can avoid this is by looking out for the word organic. This is especially common in steak and chicken. A lot of them are fed conventional diets. A lot of them aren't getting enough vitamin D due to their living conditions. So if it doesn't have the word organic on it, it probably means, depends on what country you're in, but it could very likely mean that they're fed conventional diets like soy and grain, which are high in estrogen and which get stored in their fat cells, which you then consume when you eat them. So it's very important to look out for that word organic. In addition to this, you can also go for one ingredient meals. So these are things like steak, eggs, chicken, lettuce, vegetables, and fruit. If you've only eating food with one ingredient, it means that there isn't these man-made chemicals that are put into the food. That just happens in things like soft drinks, like chips, stuff like that. They've all got a ton of chemicals in them. And if you look at the ingredients, there's probably about 20 ingredients in one packet of chips, maybe more. So therefore, if you're only buying one ingredient meals like chicken, steak, eggs, fruit, you know exactly what you're eating, and you can therefore avoid all these harmful things which are going to make you unproductive, they're going to keep you weak and in a poor state of mind. The fourth step here, which a lot of people are doing, which is keeping people weak and in a poor state of mind, is waking up too late. This is absolutely crucial. There's the old saying that lifetimes are made by decades, decades are made by years, years are made by days, and days are made by mornings. Therefore, your morning is actually going to depict your entire lifetime and your lifespan. Personally, I've found that when I wake up early, I'm way more productive. If I wake up when I set my alarm to wake up and I get out of bed straight away and go and do the task that I'm supposed to do, it has a trickle-down effect into the rest of my day. So for example, if I wake up early, to say set an alarm clock for 7 a.m. and then I actually wake up at that time and I get my task done, the rest of the day I'm not going to be sitting around watching TV. I'm also going to be less likely to eat junk food, go on Netflix or play video games. Once I've got that positive feedback loop in my brain from waking up when I was supposed to and then getting my task done, it just trickles into the rest of the day and makes the rest of the day way more productive because of that positive feedback loop that you're getting from your brain, which starts by waking up early. On the other hand, if you keep sleeping in, it's going to mean that your brain's going to give you that negative feedback loop where it tells you, what's the point of working hard, I've already slept in. Maybe I'll just go play video games, maybe I'll just go and eat junk food and stuff like that. So it constantly gives you that negative feedback loop, and that's going to lead to a negative day for the entire day if you don't wake up when you're supposed to and at a reasonable hour. Therefore, for all these reasons, I think that sleeping in is a very bad habit. I think it puts you in a poor state of mind, and it's going to make you more likely to be lazy, more likely to indulge in some of these bad habits which I've mentioned in this video, and therefore it's going to keep you in a weak state of mind. So I really much recommend waking up early and stop sleeping in. The number one tip that I can give people for this step is to set a wake up time which is sustainable. If you're someone who can't wake up super early and you set an alarm clock for 4 AM thinking you'll be productive, you're just going to end up hitting snooze, sleeping in, and you're not going to wake up at an early hour, and you're going to end up waking up a lot later than you should be. Whereas if you set the alarm clock for 7:30 and you go to bed at 11 every night, and it's sustainable, then every morning you can wake up at the same time. This is huge for your productivity. It's having a solid wake up and bedtime pattern, because this is really going to put you in a routine, and humans are creatures of habit, so having a routine is absolutely essential. So therefore, the best tip I can give you for this step is to have a consistent, sustainable wake up time and bedtime routine. Number 5, and arguably the most crucial one, is overconsumption of social media. The reason why this is so bad is because it's constant overstimulation and it's unnatural dopamine. So what this is going to do is it's going to completely fry your dopamine receptors, and it's going to mean that you're going to find it significantly harder to find enjoyment from other activities in day-to-day life. This is because dopamine is a pleasure receptor in your brain, which you can easily get from comforting activities like video games and social media. So when you wake up and you go on your phone and you're scrolling through social media, you're going to be getting the stimulus, you're going to be getting this dopamine into your brain, and it's going to completely fry your dopamine receptors because it's an unnatural amount of dopamine which you're getting instantly and straight away like that, which you actually shouldn't be getting because it's unnatural. The natural way to get dopamine is from going out and doing something which is a tough activity, like going to the gym, from working on a business, from reading a book, stuff like this. Stuff which are hard to do in the short term but give you that long-term boost and long-term pleasure. However, if you're getting instant pleasure from scrolling on your phone, it's going to completely fry your dopamine, and it's therefore going to mean that these activities I just mentioned, like going to the gym, going outside, working on a business, they now seem significantly more hard, significantly less enjoyable, because you've already shot and completely fried all your pleasure receptors. So therefore these activities are not going to be anywhere near as enjoyable as they would have been, and it's going to make it impossible for you to actually enjoy everyday life. This is something which is extremely common for so many people, is waking up and the first thing they do is grab their phone. This completely will destroy your entire day if this is the first thing you do. The reason for this is because this is going to completely destroy your dopamine straight off the bat, first thing in the morning, and then for the rest of the day, everything you do is going to seem way less enjoyable and way less fun. This is going to destroy your motivation to go out and improve. It's going to destroy pretty much your entire productivity, all your motivation, and it's going to put you in a frame of mind where you find everything boring, which actually should be fun and enjoyable for you to do. This means that all these tough tasks, which you should be doing, which are actually going to propel you forward, you just end up pushing them away and leaving them aside and just completely ignoring them. So therefore, going on social media is arguably one of the worst things you can do. It's going to sap all your energy. It's going to keep you addicted to dopamine, to quick, cheap, easy dopamine, which is therefore going to completely destroy all your motivation to get that tough, delayed gratification and do those tough activities, which actually make you stronger as a person and push you forward as a man. So therefore, the 5th step The fifth bad habit, is overconsumption of social media. If you can completely cut this down, it's going to significantly improve your life. Your brain is going to find new hobbies, new things to do. You're going to find way more enjoyment in everyday tasks, like going to the gym. If you're working on your business, it's going to feel way more enjoyable and you're going to have way motivation to do these tasks. So therefore, overconsumption of social media is completely destroying you. It's making you weak, and it's something which you could completely quit or cut out, which is going to massively help you. The number one tip which I can give for this bad habit, which is going on social media, is to create a daily timetable. So I've recently made a daily timetable, and the reason why this is so effective is because it gives you something to fall back on, which you know you should be doing at that point in time. So therefore, even if you find yourself scrolling on social media, or just mind-numbingly looking at stuff, the reason why this is so effective is because if you find yourself mind-numbingly scrolling on social media, just doing nothing without even realizing it, then all of a sudden you gain your mindfulness back and you realize what you're doing, that it's a bad habit, and that you don't know what to do. If you don't have that timetable to fall back on where you can look at and see what you're actually meant to be doing, you're 10 times more likely to just continue with this habit and continue wasting more time and wasting more of your life doing something unenjoyable. Whereas on the other hand, if you had a timetable and you find yourself scrolling on social media, you become aware of it, it's something you can pull up, you can look at straight away and see what you should be doing at this point in time. And therefore you're going to have something to do and you're going to have something to fall back on, which you can go and do whenever you find yourself going on social media. So I found that this has been extremely helpful. It's really helped me get rid of almost all of my addiction to going on social media, which I never go on these days. And it's really improved my life, and it's helped me push forward and be significantly more productive and be a less weak overall person.